guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title of today's video, we're going to be discussing dating as black women in Japan, and to kind of offer more scope on the matter, Sachoney's here again.
Hi guys.
Of course, you guys already know she's also a YouTuber, and as always, I will leave in the description bar below a link to her channel, so go ahead and support her channel as well. Okay, so in today's video we're going to talk about dating as black women in Japan, and I'm sure that there are a lot of videos on this topic per se. Persons are very curious as it relates to, you know, what it's like dating as a black woman in Japan. So I wanted to do this video to offer some amount of perspective. Now, before I begin in depth, I want to make it be known that these are our opinions slash perspectives slash experiences, because it happens this sort of way for us. Doesn't mean that it is going to be your experience if you're here in Japan looking for love as a black woman. So let me just put out that disclaimer, so before you get trigger happy in the comments bar below and try to come for me or Sachoney, don't. Do not, because I'm not the one. Okay? So, she's been here longer than I have.
You make it sound like it's a very long time though.
But I mean, I haven't been here for a year. You've been here for what?
Almost 2 years. Not 2 years yet.
So it's not that long, but it's still longer. Just want to say that to a large extent, if you're black, you are not in line with the Japanese standard of beauty. Having said that, it doesn't mean that they won't find you attractive, because I think a lot of them they judge foreigners on using different standards. So they'll even within
based on what they see on TV, like Nicki Minaj.
But the truth is this: they won't judge you based on their standard, because their standard is very pale. They find very pale skin very attractive, and so they tend to favor white women slash white men over black women slash black men, because they perceive straight hair, very big bold eyes and light skin to be attractive. So you don't fit in their standard. Nevertheless, the truth is this: if you're attractive in your home country to the other men, chances are you will be attractive over here to men, even if they don't say anything or act on their attraction. That's just the truth. So the first thing I wanted to say is, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but if you are not getting a lot of attention from men back home, don't come to Japan and expect that it's going to be a big difference in terms of what you were experiencing then and now. And that's just the truth, because men are men anywhere you go. If you look good, they will look, period. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Indian, whatever. You know, if you look good, you're going to get attention. Because when we dress up and we go, we get a lot of stares. Like, a lot of stares.
Yeah, and the thing is, one thing that I like and I don't like is the fact that when we're in Jamaica, if we look good, men gonna call to us. While in Japan, they're gonna just stare and be afraid to approach. Well, you might have one or two if they drink.
I've never experienced that.
I've experienced that, yeah. But most of the time they have been drinking, so I guess that's when they get bold.
Yeah. So that's real, because if you look good and you see them staring, you to be honest, you don't know if they're looking because you look good or because they're curious. So there's that, because I remember once we went out, when we went to eat okonomiyaki. Girl, like that day I was in blonde hair, so I got a lot of stares. So they're going to stare at you, but very few are going to be bold enough to approach you. But like you said, the typical thing here in Japan is that once a Japanese man is, you know, has had a little too much to drink, then their true self come out, and they will be more likely to approach you where that's concerned. So when you're dating in Japan, it's going to be culturally different from what you're used to back home, based on what I have heard. Because personally, I only date black men. I'm just saying. But culturally, it's going to be different. Over here, women are very submissive for the most part. And so men are used to women not necessarily being as outspoken as men in the western end of the world are used to, if you know what I mean. What are the cultural differences?
Even like the communication issues. So for us, I think we are used to like once you have a partner, you're supposed to be communicating every day or almost every day. But over here, it's like it's totally normal to not speak to your partner for like a week, 2 weeks. That's crazy.
We're no longer together after a week.
Exactly. You haven't heard from me a week. Really? We're together? Hell no.
Yeah. So I have heard that, over here, like you said, we're used to constant communication. If this is somebody that you're interested in and you're supposedly you have feelings for this person, the norm for us is that this person calls, they use the little morning, they text in the morning, how's your day, have a good day kind of thing. Over here, it's not the same. And I think that takes some getting used to, because me personally, I would die if someone I'm interested in, I can't hear from them constantly. Constant communication. So communication in relationships over here tend to be a lot different than what we're used to when it comes down to dating in Japan.
Some guys, some of them, they like hold your hand in public. They don't mind kissing you in public, stuff like that. So I guess it all depends on the type of Japanese guy, but usually once you see a couple, you can know that they are a couple based on how they are in public. But they're not that very
physical.
Yes, but based on holding hands and stuff like that.
That's definitely a difference for real. Like you said, you can know that they're a couple because 9 times out of 10 they're holding hands. Immediately you know that that's a couple. But outside of the action of them holding hands, there isn't a lot of I've never seen 2 Japanese people or a couple in Japan kiss. Never.
I've seen that.
You
need to go to Tokyo more often.
But that's where I don't even count Tokyo, because Tokyo is like,
all the
it's like a rubbing off all the culture, so people are a little more confident to do certain things. But outside of Tokyo, outside of holding hands, you rarely ever see any other form of public display of affection. I'm used to, a little one choops here or there, a little kiss on the cheek or a lips to say goodbye, but I've never ever seen that here. And I think one of the I don't know, they just don't.
Or maybe when they're drinking, because I've seen it in the club as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I clearly don't go out enough.
Yeah, like women just meeting men and
really?
They kissing and whatever. Yeah, Japanese women. Yep.
So if you want to kiss one,
go to the club.
Go to the club.
Men tend to work longer hours, so you won't be able to see your husband because his life work revolves around his life.
How his life revolves around work?
Yeah, work is very important to him, and sometimes it seems even more important than their partner, because I don't know, that's what their culture like.
Yeah,
it's always work, early morning work, late night, 10, 11, 12, that's when they go in home.
And a lot of them after work they go to the bar, so
izakaya, go drink with the co-workers and come home drunk. So
one of the things, like she said, in the Japanese culture, it's normal for persons to work very long hours. They have, when it comes down to working long hours, I think Japan has one of the highest working hours in the world. They work you'll see them go to work extremely early and they're going home extremely late. And I've been when we go for meetings, we have meetings together, you'll see them in groups going to bars after work late. Yes, during the work week too. Yeah, sometimes. So that's a thing. So if it is that you're dating a Japanese, expect that to be the case. If he is a salary man. If he's a salary man. Which is regular 9 to 5, pretty much. or 9 to 10.
Well, 9 to 5, what we would call 9 to 5, yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of the things. They work really long hours, and so that's also one of the reasons why they may not be in constant communication with you, outside of it just being the culture of, not keeping up with someone with whom you are involved with. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is dating apps. So I've heard that Japan has a lot of dating apps that are available and accessible to people. One of the popular ones is Tinder. And most persons from the West would know what Tinder is. It kind of functions differently here to some degree. If you're a foreigner, it's a good way to meet other foreigners. But it also serves the other purposes that it's made for. So you have to learn how to wade the water when it comes on to dating apps, because there are persons who are looking to meet other foreigners for strictly just hanging out and going out, and just for the sake of having someone to communicate with in English who understands the Western culture. But then there are those who are looking for hookups, and then there are those who are looking for relationships and love. So that is available to you, in the other apps?
Yeah, like I only know about Tinder and Bumble.
But I've heard of Bumble. There are other ones. I don't remember which one.
I don't know if Plenty of Fish. I don't know if they use it over here, but the main one is Tinder.
Yeah.
And then probably Bumble.
Yeah.
With Tinder though, they advertise it as a language exchange app. So I guess Japanese who wants to learn English, they can meet foreigners on Tinder. So they use it for foreign exchange, for dating, for hookups, for meeting new people.
Yeah. So tell me about your experience.
My experience what?
On Tinder.
But I'm on Tinder to meet people, because Japan can be a very lonely place. So it's good to have people to talk to, because with our schedules usually are different. So whenever you want to go out, your friends might not be available at that time. So it's good to have like options. So I joined Tinder to meet new people. So I've met a lot of people on Tinder. People who are interested in friendship, people who want more. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just listening to your story.
Yeah, so that's Tinder.
Okay. I only recently joined Tinder, and I did it because of peer pressure and curiosity. Peer pressure? Yes, because you said several times, girl get Tinder, girl get Tinder.
Yeah, because it's an app that you can meet people on.
Yeah. And so far for me, like I said, I'm not too interested in Japanese men, so I just swipe left. Once I see a Japanese face, I'm swiping left. I'm sorry. I'm part of the reason why, like I said before, the cultural differences, it's too much. And then Japanese culture, outside of the dating culture, there are a lot of differences that I'm used to, and I'm not compromising enough to have to deal with all of those compromises that will happen if I were to enter a relationship with a Japanese man, because I'm from Jamaica. I'm used to certain things going a certain way, and then they're from Japan. They're used to having a certain expectation of what a woman should be in a relationship, and I'm fully aware that I may not be compliant with what their expectations might be, and I just can't be bothered with that. It's already difficult for two Jamaicans to date. When it comes down to people and their personal expectations, when they add personal expectations and then cultural expectations, that's a whole lot of things to deal with. So it's the cultural differences, it's the language barrier, because I don't speak Japanese very well. So even if I spoke Japanese, it is just too much. And then there's another reason, but I won't even say why. What's Sachoney?
Nothing at all.
Why?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
My friends know what's the other reason, and I won't say it on here. I'm going to keep it cute and classy. Okay. Yeah. So dating apps, you can meet people. It's an easy way to meet people here. And if you're interested in dating a Japanese person, it's an easy way to meet them. There are a number of Japanese men who will say in their profile that they speak both English and Japanese. And then there are those who may be willing to use Google Translate to have conversations with you. So if that's something that you're interested in, then that option is there for you. I met a Brazilian on there, and he speaks Japanese. Obviously he speaks Portuguese. That's what they speak in Brazil, Portuguese. But he doesn't speak English. But because I was just so cute, he uses Google Translate to communicate with me, and says that he wants to learn English so he can take me out.
Yeah, he can hire you to teach him English.
Or that too.
Yeah, so there's a student.
That's a potential student. I want to her. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So if you are looking today dating in Japan as Black women, I think it can be hard. What do you think?
It depends on what you want.
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't plan on being here for that long, so I'm not looking for anything serious. So it doesn't matter. I'm here to meet friends. So if you want anything more, then
it's a no.
Yeah. Well, it depends. But yeah, but I'm not looking for that right now.
Yeah, and I say it's difficult for a number of reasons. Here's why. For the first thing I mentioned, that we don't necessarily fit the beauty standards of Japanese culture. Excuse me. That's a thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you do meet a lot of foreigners, they're either interested in only sex or they don't want a relationship. So that's also a thing. And a lot of them are here with the intentions of getting a Japanese woman. So that's also a thing. What else? What was I going to say? And then you have to contend with the whole communication barrier. Now, if you speak Japanese, or if you meet someone who speaks your native language, then obviously that last part doesn't apply to you.
Wow. Yeah, and just to add, with the cultural differences with Japanese guys, the fact that for us, or maybe for Jamaicans, if something is bothering us, then we're gonna share it. While for the Japanese culture, if there's an issue within the relationship, it's gonna be hard for you to know, because they're gonna pretend like everything is fine when it's not, and then that's gonna put a strain on the relationship. Yeah.
So in Japan, there's something called hone. Am I pronouncing it right? HONNE, hone, and tatemai. Tatemai is the person presents a version of themselves that does not create chaos. So that's the version of themselves that they'll say something nice to you. So say I look at this fruit, and she gives me this fruit, right? My original and my first reaction is that I hate it. That's honey. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Honey. That's my personal and that's my real opinion of the fruit. I don't like it. But because you have given it to me and you're in front of me, the tatame, because of the tatame culture, I'm going to say I like it because I don't want to offend you.
Or you're going to take it and not say, oh, I don't want it.
Yeah. So it's that sort of thing in the culture where they'll say something because they don't want to offend you.
Or
right?
they don't like confrontation.
Or they don't like confrontation. So you'll find that if you ask them, oh, how does my hair look? Even if they don't like it, they'll say, I like it, because they don't want to offend you or to be confrontational.
Or to seem
rude. So that's a thing. Another thing to be mentioned is that as Black women, some Japanese men have fetish for Black women. So fetishizing.
Fetishizing.
See the word here.
Fetishization.
Fetishes. I have
just a fetish. They have a fetish.
They have a fetish. So they have a fetish for Black women. So you have to be very careful for that, because the perception that a lot of Asian countries have of Black women is that, we're promiscuous and we're very good at dancing and we're also very good at sex. So a lot of them are very curious to find out what it's like. Why do you think like that?
Okay.
A lot of them are curious to find out, what it's like to be with a foreign Black or a Black woman, period. And it's not just Black women too. A lot of them are curious to find out what it's like to be sexually involved with a foreigner, period, to have that experience. But based on what I've heard from other women who have dated Japanese men and all of that, there is that subculture of men who have fetish for dating black women. So you have to be careful of that. That it's not just that it's actually someone genuinely liking you for you, as opposed to having a fetish because of the race that you're from. So that's something to bear in mind. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a little personal experiences. So like I said, I don't have any personal experiences because I mean, to be honest, I've dated someone in Japan, but that person was not Japanese. Okay, so she has had a relationship, you know, call it?
Yeah, well, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so tell the fans about your experience.
So, where to start?
How did you guys meet?
We met on Tinder. So the thing is, this Japanese guy, he was different from the other Japanese guys that I was talking to. So in terms of like, he was one of those Japanese persons who knew what was going on in the world. So it wasn't like living in his own bubble or in the Japanese bubble. So he knew about, you know, black issues and things that were things that are going on in the world as relates to the black race and stuff like that. So I guess that's what made him attractive to me. Yeah, so I guess we went out. Well, not guess. We went
I was about
out.
to ask you, guess.
Yeah, so we went out and stuff like that, and yeah, so we just, one thing led to the other, we became an item for a short period of time. But the issue, one of the main issue that I had was the communication issue. So I felt like we weren't communicating enough, and the fact that we lived like over 1 hour away, like a 1 hour distance. There was like a 1 hour distance between us, right? Based on where we live. So it was hard for us to like see each other often. So I thought that, you know, communicating over the phone or even with a text or something like that would have been ideal. But I guess again, the cultural differences, he was one of those salary men who worked all the time. So in addition to him working, which made it hard for us to see each other, we weren't communicating that often. So I just felt like I was putting in more than I was receiving. So that's just where it went downhill.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was it. That's it, pretty much.
Okay. I have no personal experience. I mean,
but that's just one experience too.
Yeah, that was one experience. But I dated, but that person was a black person, so it's not necessarily. And you can find someone of your own race here, so don't come thinking it's impossible to. But I would also say tread lightly when it comes on to foreign men, especially military men.
Mama, watch I hear you.
No, but I have to talk the truth. That people are here for the truth. So I'm going to speak it as it is. I'm not going to generalize and paint a broad brush over all the military men. But there are a lot of them who are here who aren't looking for anything serious. So don't be fooled by that. There are women I know who are here who are in a full-on relationship with them, and that's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. But there are those who are here who are already married, who are not looking for any commitment, and then there are those who even despite not being married, who are not looking to settle down at all. So they're just here to have fun because they know that they're not going to be here for a long period of time. So be very wary of them. I'm not saying you can't give any of them a chance, but tread lightly.
Yep.
You know, and that's not to say that all military men are the same here. But at the same time, they do have a reputation, and that reputation comes from somewhere. It means that somebody has been doing something to create the reputation that they have. So bear that in mind. Okay guys, so we made it to the end of another video. If you have any questions, comments and concerns, please let me know in the comment bar below. As always, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share and subscribe. And once you have subscribed, please hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a video on my channel. We're going to do another video on her channel, so if you're interested to see what video I did with her, please definitely click in the comment bar in the description bar below a link to her channel so that you can watch the video featuring me
and her getting some boxes.
Lord God. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Bye.